I had never imagined before that so many worries and troubles could descend upon one person as are weighing on me now. It's not easy to explain how I got into this whole story, so it's probably better to tell everything from the very beginning. Since 2041, after graduating from a vocational school, I worked as an assembler of Sphinx valves at the Sterling Spacecraft Company plant. I was satisfied with my position. I liked watching enormous spaceships roar into the sky and depart toward the constellation Cygnus, Alpha Centauri, and other worlds we so often learn about on television, hear about on the radio, and read about on social media. I was young, had friends, a bright future lay before me, and I even knew 2 or 3 girls. But none of it led anywhere. At the factory they were satisfied with me, yet I could have done much more if not for the hidden movie cameras whose lenses were aimed at my hands. Don't think I had anything against the cameras themselves, it was just their buzzing that irritated me and kept me from concentrating. I went to complain to the Internal Security Bureau. I told them, listen, why does everyone else have new silent cameras while I get this old junk? But they wouldn't do anything for me, they were too busy. Then thousands of little annoyances began poisoning my existence. Take, for example, the recording device built into my television. The FBI technicians could never adjust it properly, and it hummed all night long. I complained hundreds of times. I told them, listen, nobody else's device hums like this, mine never gives me a moment's peace. In response they gave me the same worn-out lecture about the need to win the Cold War and how they couldn't please everyone. Things like that make you feel inferior. I began to suspect my government wasn't interested in me at all. Take my assigned spy, for instance. I had been classified as a Group 18 suspect, the same category as the vice president. Suspects in this group were supposed to be only partially monitored. But the spy assigned to me must have thought he was a movie star, he always wore a spotted overcoat and a wide-brimmed hat pulled low over his eyes. He was thin and nervous. Afraid of losing me, he practically stepped on my heels. Well, he did everything he could to handle his job, and it wasn't his fault he failed. I even felt sorry for him, surveillance has plenty of competition. But his mere presence embarrassed me. Whenever I appeared with him, feeling his breath on the back of my neck, my friends laughed until they cried.
Bill, is that really all you're capable of?
My girlfriend said she got goosebumps just from his presence. Naturally, I went to the Senate Investigations Commission and said, listen, why can't you assign me a qualified detective? Am I worse than my friends? I went to the Senate Investigations Commission and said. They said they would take measures, but I understood I was too insignificant for them. All these little things drove me to the edge, ask any psychologist how little it takes to drive a person mad. I was tired of being ignored, tired of being neglected. That was when I began thinking about deep space. Out there, beyond Earth, stretched billions of square miles of emptiness dotted with countless stars. There every man, woman, or child could choose a planet like Earth. There might be a place for me too. I bought a catalog of the stars of the universe and a worn galactic pilot, studied a gravity textbook and an interstellar navigation atlas from cover to cover. Finally I realized I was stuffed with knowledge to the limit, not another grain would fit. All my savings went to buying an old spaceship, the Star Clipper. Liquid oxygen seeped through its seams, its atomic reactor was unbelievably temperamental, but its engines could fling you practically anywhere in infinite space. All this made my venture quite dangerous, but in the end I was risking only my own life, at least that's what I thought at the time. So I got my passport, a blue visa, a red visa, an ID number card, anti-space sickness pills, and a deratification certificate. At work I resigned and said goodbye to the cameras. At home I packed my things and said goodbye to the recording devices. On the street I shook hands with my spy and wished him happiness. I burned all bridges, there was no retreat. I only had to get a general visa, so I hurried to the General Visa Bureau.
Where do you wish to go?
To space. I answered.
That's clear, but where exactly?
I don't know yet, I said. Just to space. To deep space. To free space.
If you want a general visa, you must express yourself more clearly. Are you planning to settle on a planet in American space? Or perhaps you want to emigrate to British space? Dutch? French?
I didn't think space could belong to anyone, I replied.
Then you're behind the times. The United States claims all space between coordinates 2XA and 2B, except a small and relatively insignificant segment claimed by Mexico. The Soviet Union owns the space between coordinates 3B and 02. There are also sectors assigned to China, Ceylon, Nigeria.
And where is free space?
There is none.
None at all. How far do these borders extend?
To infinity.
For a moment I was stunned. I had never imagined the infinite universe could belong to anyone. But now it seemed quite natural. After all, someone had to own space. I want to go to American space, I declared, not attaching much importance to it, though later it turned out I should have. The clerk silently nodded and checked my file starting from age 5, apparently going younger made no sense. Then he issued my visa. When I arrived at the spaceport, my ship was already fueled and ready. I managed to take off without incident. But I truly realized my loneliness only when Earth shrank to a tiny dot and then disappeared behind me. 50 hours after launch, while inspecting supplies, I noticed one sack of vegetables was shaped differently. When I untied it, instead of 100 pounds of potatoes I found a girl. A space stowaway. I froze with my mouth open.
Well, will you help me out of this sack? Or would you rather tie it again and forget the incident?
I helped her out. She was very pretty, slim, thoughtful blue eyes, reddish hair like a rocket flame. Her dirty face showed a lively, independent character. On Earth I would have gladly walked 10 miles to meet her.
Could you give me something to eat? I haven't had a crumb since leaving Earth except raw carrots.
What are you doing here?
You wouldn't understand.
I'm sure I would. She looked out the porthole at the stars shining in American space.
I was striving for freedom.
Meaning what?
Calmly, perhaps you would call it romanticism, but I belong to those mad people who recite poetry in the dark of night and burst into tears in front of some ridiculous little statue.
She wearily sank down onto my bunk.
Yellow autumn leaves stir me deeply, and drops of dew on a green lawn seem to me like the tears of the earth. My psychiatrist said I have an inferiority complex.
She closed her eyes in exhaustion. I understood her perfectly. Anyone would be worn out after standing 50 hours in a potato sack.
Earth began to irritate me. I couldn't endure it anymore. The bureaucracy, the discipline, the hardships, the Cold War, the hot war, everything. I wanted to laugh with the wind, run across green fields, wander through shady forests, sing.